Hi, hello everyone. Okay, so our session today, we'll be talking about the way that you can provisioning websites directly using the PNP on a SharePoint, and we'll be talking about case study that we have made with Symington. That for the ones that didn't know, where is Symington? Anyone knows? No? Okay, so Symington is a company, a production wine from Portugal. So we are from a company, Wine Tuning. This is a company from Portugal. So this is one of the biggest production wines for Vinho do Porto, one of the wines most know it on the world. So we have made a project to them. So we'll be talking about the way that we can automate the process about provisioning departments' sites. Okay, let me just present myself. So I'm Carlos. I'm platform team leader in Wine Tuning. I'm the persons in charge from the platform way, from the way that we deliver the product to the users, the way that we provide web APIs to link with the products that we have inside the company. As well, like our products are based on CDN, so I'm the guy in charge to take control of those CDNs to deliver the information to the users. My colleague.
Hi, I am Diogo. I also work at Wine Tuning. I'm one of the developers for our web part product. And I will be talking here about, I was involved directly with a Symington project, and I will be talking about some of the more detailed stuff about what we did with the PNP provision engine.
Okay, so going on. So thank you to our partnerships, to our sponsors, not partnerships, to our sponsors. Without him, this is not possible. So thank you to all of them. So let's talk a little bit about Symington. So like I said at the beginning, Symington is one of the most popular family of port wines in Portugal. They come from different cultures. They are from Scottish, Portuguese, and they are multicultural, like English, and they start to create Porto wine in 1822. So from 7 generations, they have a lot of wine production. So we have, for the session, there are 4 topics that we know that they are very important to explain these projects. So the first one is regarding the challenge and the solutions that we made from the project itself. Because it was not a very easy project since they were not using SharePoint as they need to. So I will explain that in a few moments. So the second point will be covering like the branding stuff and the content and the way that we use to get all the things like the image that they have. The topic will be the automated process that will be talking by my colleague Diogo, and the way that we use not only SharePoint, but as well Microsoft Service to boost the productivity on their environment, and the latest one, the department's provisioning. So about the challenge. So this was the first impact that we have with their organization. So they have just one Office 365 single page. They have a huge amount of document libraries, and a lot of document libraries was just have one document. They have emails to send information from one person to another one. They didn't know that we have groups to create, for example, mailing lists. They have Excel files to be a database. So they didn't know how SharePoint can help in the way that they can merge everything together. So the first step that we do is to explain how they can just have the department and talk directly to the users from that specific department, and how they can provisioning anytime that they intend to create a new one. So that was our first challenger, is to explain how easy it is to use Office 365 and how easy it is to use the document libraries, the sites, publishing sites, if they want to create more information about the way that they want to show the information to the end users. So we create a proof of concept. That was the first part of the project, create a proof of concept of all the pages that they can create and the way that they can show the information. So we create different site collections, different sites with document libraries. That was the first step, to explain how they can have different document libraries for different groups and how they can do that specific way for each department. But we come to a block that was how we can do that automatically. So anytime that we want to create a new department, how we can do that? Because anytime that you want to create a new department, the way that we do that right now is to create an Excel file. The way that we have is create a document library. The way that we have is to upload a new Excel file for that specific document library, share the link, and send by email. That was the process in 20 years ago, okay? So let me go a little bit faster, and let me explain the branding and the content. So we are a branding company, so we provide layers like themes and templates, okay? Like themes and web parts. The theme allows us and all the users to branding with the colors, like using colors, using fonts, and take in mind all the time the responsive behavior, because that is very important. Because anytime that the users open the site, the SharePoint environment inside a tablet or a phone, they need to fit always depends on the viewport width. And that is a challenge inside SharePoint, because SharePoint is created with tables and breaks every time. And if you add web parts, the web parts also breaks all the responsive behavior. So we need to create the branding using themes, and we need to grab the content, and to grab the content and keep the same responsive behavior, we just add our web parts. Because like the themes, they are created using Bootstrap. Because we support any environment, but for Office 365, we came across to just the classic environment, not the modern, because they are not on the modern tenants, okay? But if they are, there will not be a problem, because even the themes and the web parts support both modern and classics. We have the package to the WSP solution for classic, and we have the SPKG for the SPFX. So the content are coming from lists, SharePoint lists, and SharePoint calendars. And we just bring together inside the theme and the web parts to merge on the content on the same page. And that was the explanation about all the way that we use our framework, because we are connected like a framework, because you can use the different layers like the themes and the web parts separately. So we can use a theme without the web parts, when you can use the web parts without the theme. It's not mandatory to use both. That's why we are connected, and we use all the time the bind tuning framework, so we can explain why we are a framework, okay? So that was the first proof of concept. So we use one of our themes from our gallery, the temple theme. We use our list from web parts, so we have a list about 13 different web parts, but from that proof of concept, we just use 5: slider, tiles, tiles again, videos, news, and the map, okay? So, and all the content that you are seeing here are coming from lists. And the lists are not on the same site collection where I have the information. It can be in another lists. Because using camel query syntax, you can just bring the content and display directly on the page, okay? Okay, so another thing that we have created was as well custom page layouts. So since they want to deploy entire internet for different departments, we have to create custom page layout as well based on their information. So we have used, and this will be explained by Diogo, the way that we have the news based on department blocks, and the way that you can automate, that we have automate the process to bring the news depending on the department. And we use the people web part to bring all the information that they have inside SharePoint, the people. Okay, so all the information that they have, we are bringing directly to the web parts, and that can display all the information there. So coming to the automated process, this is for you.
Yeah, so one of the main requirements from Symington when I started the project was that they wanted their landing page to showcase some of the news, some of the department news right there when people come in. But also they wanted on the department pages themselves to have all of the news related to that department. Now, the last thing we wanted them to do was for them to have to copy everything from the department site and having to copy that over whenever they create a new article into the landing so that they can then have it showing up there. So to do that, we had to, of course, automate the process. And we did this mostly by using Microsoft Flow. The way we did this was for the department site, we created also a blog site, and we told them that whenever they want to create news articles, they just go into the blog, they create a new article, and at the form for creation, they have a yes, no drop-down field that will let them basically decide whether that item should be promoted or not to the landing page. Now, whenever an item is created or updated on this blog list, what's going to happen is it's going to trigger a flow. And this flow is going to basically just check if that flag is active. If it is, then it's going to send an email, an approval email to the people in charge of managing the landing page. And if it gets approved, then the content that is on that on the blog list is going to get copied over to a list on the landing page. And our web part, our news web part, is reading from that list and will be displaying that content. When we move over the content, the article, we also include a custom field that says what the code is for the department, and that way they can also do some filtering for exactly what they want to show. Now, another issue we had, of course, was, okay, we create one of these flows, but a flow can only connect to one list. If we have 10 departments, we're going to have to recreate this flow 10 times. And if they, after we finish the project, if they want to create a new department, well, either we come back in again and redo the flow, or we teach them to do the flow again. And that didn't sound like a very good proposal for us. So instead what we managed to do, actually, was to use Microsoft Flow itself to copy or duplicate the already existing flow to promote the articles. And this flow also manages to do some replacements on the original flow, so that it will now correspond to the right lists for the department. Now, for the department creation itself, this is where the PNP provision engine comes in, or our provisioning engine based on the PNP comes in. Basically, we just created the department page once. From that, we created a PNP module, and using that template, we then deployed all of the remaining departments automatically one after the other, which saved us a lot of time. This process copied over all the site structures, so sites and subsites, the lists, some demo content, and then after the copy is made, we also are running some tasks that basically will update a list on the site collection that will trigger the flow to copy the other flow. And also automatically it adds a new link to the department itself on the landing page. And so now whenever they want to create a new department, it's going to be super easy for them. They just go into our provisioning app, they choose their template, they say what the URL is going to be and what the title is going to be, they hit OK, wait 20 seconds, and that's done. Okay, and it seems we're out of time, so that's it for the session. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any questions? How many flows did you have?
So we had two base ones, and then from these, the remaining 10 for each department were created.
Yeah, because anytime that you provision the websites, they will also grab also the flows, and they will duplicate based on that provisioning. More questions? No? Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.